The developers over at 2K may have just given us an indication of a brand new project that could be in the works, and they might be bringing back a fan favorite. Brian Williams is one of the developers over at 2K who's worked on WWE 2K games forever. He had left for a long time. He actually helped work on AEW Fight Forever, and then he came back over with the team over at 2K to help support the rollout development of 2K22 when it was in kind of the later stages of it, and worked on 2K23. But Brian posted something really interesting today. It actually was more of a follow-up to something he had posted back in 2019. Brian Williams wrote, July 16th, 2019, had a great day at the office today. I basically had a 6-hour meeting with my coworkers discussing plans for a project that I hope becomes a reality. We played a lot of SmackDown Here Comes the Pain today. So what does this matter? Why do we care about tweets that are many, many years old, dummy? Huh? Well, Brian followed up response to his own tweet today and said, this tweet officially became a reality. You know what I have to say about that? Yeah. What could this mean? We have to do a little reckless speculation here, ladies and gentlemen. We just have to. So comment below, what do you think this is going to mean? It doesn't mean that he's going out and getting lunch for everybody at the office. It's going to mean that there is a project in the works with the team over at 2K, presumably for another wrestling game. And we're not talking about the next 2K24. No. We're not talking about that. YOY back in 2019 mentioned and just name dropped Here Comes the Pain. This is also very interesting for a number of reasons. The timing of it all. If there were discussions in like the summer of 2019, we're 4 years removed from this. What could we have gotten done in 4 years of potential theoretical development time? Could we be looking at a remake for SmackDown Here Comes the Pain? I kind of think we are right now. I'm a little giddy. SmackDown Here Comes the Pain was one of my absolute favorites growing up, and it's still a fan favorite today, and people still compare it from days of old to the current crop of 2K games, and even now with AEW Fight Forever. I find it interesting as well. What I find interesting is the timing of all of this. Brian following up this tweet now, we're pulling a lot from a tweet, ladies and gentlemen, but Brian pulling up a tweet right now and responding to it. The first week that AEW Fight Forever is now out in the wild, everyone's had their hands on it. Brian Williams had left the team to go work on Fight Forever and finished up there and moved back over here. Seems like something that he could have been working on before he left, and now that he's back, he can finally finish this thing off. Now, does that mean that a potential sequel, follow-up, port, updated version of Here Comes the Pain is going to come out this year? Probably not. Like, I'd be shocked if we turned around this October, November, and they released an updated version of this game to us. We know 2K24 is in full development. They're working on it now, and that we should be expecting next March. If you guys remember, we also had a clip posted by WWE like 6 months ago where WWE superstars were sitting down and talking about certain games from their childhood, what they grew up and what they loved. SmackDown Here Comes the Pain was one of the biggest ones. It was front and center for them. Remember Karrion Kross saying that they want him to just remake this game? Part of me kind of wonders, just pulling all the threads together, if this game has been in development for a very long time. Fans went nuts just for that on Twitter alone for them discussing Here Comes the Pain. Here Comes the Pain is great for so many reasons, from match types, season mode, backstage, the arcadiness that you could get with it, but also keeping it a little more grounded at the same time. Like, it's just so well-rounded overall. From getting things like your 3 Stages of Hell match, which is one of my personal favorites, and I'm still waiting for it today, Slobber Knocker, special referee, a proper First Blood match is in there. It had something for everyone. But what could this be? If we're living in a world where there is a potential successor to Here Comes the Pain, a smaller, more arcadey style game, is it going to be a direct port of the original game with an updated current WWE roster? To me, that's all I need. Just give me the exact same game, update the roster, let's go. And if they were going to release another Here Comes the Pain, when would they do this? Because with 2K24 and 2K Series now in a release cycle of like March for these game releases, to me it would make sense that you release something like this around the fall. All of the 2K DLC tends to wrap up like August, September at the latest. and then there's nothing. This, on the 2K side, on the business side of things, to me, it would make a lot of sense to round out the calendar to basically bookend both parts of the year with wrestling games that are extremely popular with your company. WWE has talked in the past about wanting to expand the gaming market and be able to try different things. And we see them with, mobile games. We've seen them with 2K. We've seen them try to do a smaller arcade style game, that of Battlegrounds. WWE Battlegrounds came out in September of 2020. And while I don't recommend people play that game, and I don't want a Battlegrounds 2, to me what was smart was trying to add another game into the catalog for players that wanted something that was a more casual pick up and play, but then also providing a more hardcore simulation style experience with the regular 2K franchise. And I think a Here Comes the Pain remake can do exactly that. But I don't think that you go down the rabbit hole of releasing it annually. And I think what they could be doing is doing more of the AEW Fight Forever path, which is one game and building content off of it. Let the 2K series be the one that you annualize indefinite, as long as they have the contract over there, and giving us 2K24 all the way to 5, 6, 7, 8, and 30 and beyond. It's just too much sometimes, honestly. Take something like a Here Comes the Pain, that's going to be maybe a smaller experience, like I said, where you're getting a season mode, a creation suite. It's text-based dialogue for your season mode. The roster is up to date with current wrestlers. Throw in a lot of legends in there, because you would, in theory, have the ability to license out all of the current roster stars and current members that you do in the 2K game, you could theoretically do in this other game. But you're offering a little bit of a different experience, much like AEW Fight Forever, offering a different experience, non-simulation, more arcade style, simplified controls, simplified experience, but really answering the call for fans that want that somewhat nostalgia feeling of games they grew up with, where they had just a ton of fun doing backstage brawls that were insane and throwing each other off the cars and everything. But do we worry that it would trip over 2K side of things with the regular 2K24-25 franchise? I don't think so. For me, it would actually complement each other. And with a Here Comes the Pain 2.0, you can release it once with that engine, with that style of gameplay, and you could build off of it with seasonal downloads and content added on. Go with something like AEW Fight Forever, where here's the season pass, here's what the front end of the DLC is. Maybe you can outline it a little bit deeper. Let us know what we're gonna get for maybe the whole year. Do a battle pass style of content. Release move packs, release new arenas, release new wrestlers, legends, and sell people on that. So then the team is going to be able to get the revenue coming in for all of the additional content, not only just for the release of the game, but all of the waves of DLC that you could, in theory, add on every single month, or for the next year, 2 years, 3 years. That way, if it has, again, I'm speculating, but if this has been in development for a few years, it could be just, it's a one and done sale for this product. It's fan service, but you can still make a ton of money off of this, releasing more creation suite content, keeping it up to date, patching it, selling people on all the different stuff that I just mentioned. You will speak to a massive audience, and for Take-Two Interactive, you will have another game in your portfolio. You're selling to the same audience, the wrestling audience, and we want to be able to buy these new games. We want to be able to try them all out, good or bad. And as a fan, you're on a better cycle of games being released, because I would have 2K24 coming out in March, and then presumably a Here Comes the Pain comes out in the fall, and then you're getting all of the content rolling and rolling for months as the next 2K25 comes out, and so on, and both games are alive and well. And honestly, I wonder how much of it the team over at 2K that work on the wrestling side, how much they look and pay attention to what AEW Fight Forever has done well. It has its problems, we've talked about stuff in the review, but that game and that style of gameplay speaks to an audience, a large audience. AEW fans, just wrestling fans in general, people are having fun with it. And if Brian Williams, who is somebody who has worked on that game directly, is able to see these are the good things, the exciting things about that game, and looking at it going, well, what could we bring over to our side? What could we implement on our simulation experience of the 2K franchise? Or better yet, can we do something like AEW Fight Forever, but revitalize something that fans really love, like Here Comes the Pain? I love to know your thoughts on this. It gets me excited that we would have options as wrestling fans playing these games. What else could come to life? What would you want to see in another game? And if you want to get more 2K content, click right here because we got news on Uncle Howdy, Bray Wyatt, and all that good stuff coming in 2K23. I'll see you in the next one.